What's going on, guys? Today, we're gonna be going over weaponized recovery, right? This is not just your average PT. This is not your average ice and stim. I'm gonna show you how you can actually heal the issues that you've been struggling with in terms of tightness and injuries, and how you can actually become a better athlete than you were before you got injured. Now, I'm speaking from personal experience. I struggled with injuries my entire college wrestling career. It held me back, and I did everything from PT to Kairos to ice and stim with no results. And I kept feeling like there had to be a better way, so I started to figure it out myself. So now I'm gonna show you exactly what I've learned over the last few years of working with athletes from high school to college and even Olympic level athletes to help them not only heal their injuries, but weaponize their bodies and reach higher levels of athleticism than they had before the injuries. Step number one, when you're doing PT, when you're doing the traditional rehab approach, you're doing all this band work, you're doing all these planks and all these things. Most people I talk to are doing these things, but they're doing them completely mindlessly. So step one is intention and awareness. You can't just go through and do 100 of these without any intention or awareness, just kind of going through the motions, looking around the PT room, and expect to get healthy or expect to be a better athlete than you were. You have to bring intention and awareness to the training. So how do you do that? Step number one is connecting to your breathing. By connecting to your breathing, you're not only gonna get more out of the exercises that you're doing, you're also gonna be able to tap into your nervous system and change your state at any given moment. I like to use an exercise called the bear crawl breathing to help prime the body and build that mind-body connection, right? So here, what I'm doing, I'm keeping my knees under my hips, my elbows and my shoulders are stacked over the wrists, and I'm gonna keep my back flat, spreading the shoulder blades nice and tall here. All I'm focusing on throughout the entire time that I'm doing this exercise is my breath. So I'm focusing on breathing into my core, expanding it 360 degrees like an airbag. And once I feel that full expansion, I'm breathing out through my nose. What that's doing is helping me to build a stronger connection between my brain and my body. That's increasing proprioception. Now, the majority of injuries happen because of a lack of proprioception. You don't understand where your body is in space, and that is when you get hurt. So once we've tapped into that brain-body connection, we're gonna build some actual durability in the joints, and that starts with your fascia. When I was going through PT and dealing with all my injuries, never once did a PT say anything to me about fascia. So for those of you that don't know what fascia is the connective web that starts at the feet and runs all the way up your chain to the top of your head. So it's your entire body. Now, if this connective tissue is not healthy, you're cooked. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna be stiff. You're gonna be unathletic. So we have to start with the fascia, and I like to start at the feet because we're focusing on the foundation. If the feet are restricted, the rest of the body is gonna be restricted. So I always roll out the feet just to prime it. Once the fascia is warm, it's moving around, it's sliding the way it's meant to, and it's primed, we're gonna build strength specifically in the fascia. So one way that I like to train the fascia is using isometrics specifically on the landmine, because in life and in sports, you're not ever driving through your heels the way you would be in a traditional lift. So why not train those positions, right? One of my favorite ways to help warm up the connective tissue is lockout isometrics here. Notice I'm on my toes, pointed out with the heels. My elbow is coiling, and I'm getting a rotational side bend through my whole body. I like to pick a point on the wall, keep my eyes fixed on it the whole time. And what I'm doing here is I'm focused on staying on the toes, keeping this elbow tight, almost like I'm pinching a credit card to my hip, not letting it fall. And then I'm gonna hold this position. Now, when I'm doing this, again, I'm not just looking around, thinking about what I'm gonna eat for dinner. I'm focused on my breath. Why? Because when I do this landmine exercise, I'm actually balancing out the sides of my body. And what this is gonna do is help you build more explosive power in rotational positions than you would have had before doing this type of training. So again, I'm on my toes and I'm driving forward into the bar. I'm not just here lazy, I'm active with this forward intent, keeping this left side tight, breathing into the right side, thinking about opening up and then shortening this left side as I exhale. So once we've built some strength in these foundational positions, like the lockout, that's when you can transition to heavy exercises or more explosive exercises like the landmine clean or the landmine snatch. See, a lot of people that just find these exercises and they're like, oh, that's it, I'm gonna do that. But it's way too advanced. You need to master the positions before you can learn the transitions. Now, the last step to help weaponize your body and improve recovery is gonna be strengthening your joints specifically. I separated my left shoulder when I was wrestling in college, and I was told to avoid certain movements afterwards, like dips, because they put too much pressure on the shoulder. In reality, my shoulder just wasn't strong enough to handle that pressure. But that didn't mean I should avoid it, because the more I kept avoiding dips, the more flare-ups I had when doing pressing movements through the front of my shoulder. So what helped me was actually strengthening the joint itself. Now, for example, with a movement like the external rotation, a lot of people only focus on this partial range of motion, right? Only external rotation or only internal rotation, right? Only going down here. The problem with that is your shoulder is a ball in socket. It needs to be able to rotate fully, not partially. So for me, I started with this exercise, only using 5 pounds in my basement, using a plate just like this. From there, I built up the strength in my shoulder to where I could do 35 pounds strict form, slow and controlled on the way down, getting this full stretch, and then bringing that up. This allowed me to measurably increase the strength of my actual joint so that I could be more protected against future injuries, and also completely eliminated the pain that I had during pressing exercises because the joint was now strong enough to handle it. So I have a lot of people that come to me and they tell me like, hey, I'm going to PT, and that's great. What's PT having you do? Okay, 2 sets of 15, half rep externals, 2 sets of 15, half rep internal rotations, and you're never actually training your entire range of rotation in the shoulder. You're never actually training your shoulder to rotate the way that it's meant to, and that's why it doesn't recover fully. So the difference is we're training the shoulder through its entire range of motion, and we're measurably strengthening it to a point where it's stronger than it was before you got hurt. Because if you think about it, if your shoulder was strong enough before the injury, it probably wouldn't have happened. I hope this video was helpful for you in understanding how you can take your recovery to the next level, how you can break out of the pain and injury cycle and actually become a better athlete than you were before your injury. Now listen, if you want to train the same way that I train and the same way that I work with all of my athletes, click the link in the description box down below and I will reach out to you directly. I want to help you in any way I can because I know how frustrating it can be to struggle with these injuries. They held me back for years, and I want to help as many people as I possibly can to overcome their injuries and see that it is possible to become more healthy and more athletic after an injury. Hope this video was helpful. Use it. Let me know how it goes in the comments down below. As always, stay weaponized.